What's up, guys? Asmon's put out this video here. Every live service game is the same. He's going to talk about live service games, monetization, player retention, things like that. There's a lot of things I disagree with. He's not being super charitable, I don't think. Let's take a look. I've started it, when he kind of starts talking a lot, about 20 seconds in. Let's get into it.
Now, I want to warn you guys. Before you watch this video, if you like playing a lot of online video games, you love live service games,
I
and
do.
you think anything the way that I do,
Okay.
be careful. Because after you see these patterns, I feel like there's no way to unsee the man behind the machine.
Okay.
So anyway,
Let's hear
the
it.
big issue that I've had a lot with online video games is that it feels like it's building a castle on sand. It's building a castle on the beach, and then every 60 to 90 days, the tide comes in, washes your castle away, and the only thing you have left to show for it is maybe a cosmetic FOMO item for some seasonal event. Oh boy, you don't want to miss those. There's a collection tab. You loot an apple, and it says 1 out of 634. Oh boy, are we having fun now. Oh, exciting. And so I've been seeing.
I don't really understand this that much. Like for sure, there's a lot of when you play like seasonal games. It sounds like he's kind of talking about seasonal games where your progress is essentially being reset, if you will. Every 3 months, 6 months. Thinking like Diablo 4, Path of Exile, MMOs between patches, kind of your gear becomes irrelevant. You have to re-gear stuff like that. Of course, there are items that are rewarded to you across seasons because it's kind of a token of, hey, I went really, really hard in season 4 of Diablo 4, so I've got the gear set from it. So even though I've got to make a new character and go through the stuff again and replay, part of the game, I guess, on that season, I can still show like, hey, like I participated in this season, I got all the challenges done, or, you know, whatever it is, right? I don't really think that's like a super like crazy. I think these games would feel really really bad if like literally there was no way to distinguish, if you've played previous seasons or not. I think that's kind of a really important part.
This with every single online game. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? How am I letting myself get my time wasted on such a cataclysmic scale? By the way, 35,000 hours I've played World of Warcraft, okay? I don't regret a single minute of
I don't
it.
know what he means by
But
time
god
wasting.
damn, I wouldn't want to do all that again. And so here's the point. I feel like every single online game, it doesn't matter whether you're playing Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft.
To be clear, he starts by mentioning three gacha games. Okay, I won't defend gacha games. Okay, yes, there's some nasty stuff they do with FOMO and selling power. It's kind of strange that he mentions these gacha games and then saying like, "Oh, Call of Duty." To me, these are like very clearly different monetization strategies.
Or New World. None of these things matter because all of these games follow the same DNA. And the DNA, if you want a very easy way to condense this down, it is keep you addicted and waste your time. That's basically what happens. And so people say, oh, well, you want instant gratification. You're goddamn fucking right, I do.
Just on the point about keeping you addicted, I find this argument really strange. People use this a lot. How like, oh, games like live service games, they just want to like keep you playing. I don't even think it's that surprising. Like when you have a live service game, you have a product that's continually evolving, so you want people to continually play it. I don't find that to be bizarre or strange. And in fact, like I think a lot of people that play live service games, that's what they want actually. Like they want the fact that the game is continually updated is good because they want to keep playing it. They don't want a one-shot experience, when you go buy, I don't know what, some single player game, Elden Ring, whatever. That's not what, when I go to play League of Legends or whatever, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a certain number of hours of experience and it's done. There's going to be continuous updates and I want to continue enjoying the game. I don't really think it's that insidious.
I'm playing a video game. If I didn't want instant gratification, I'd go back to my own boring real life. Of course I do. I don't want to.
And you talk about instant gratification. The thing is, like, there has to be some friction and challenge in video games for them to be interesting, right? Like, video games essentially are like just kind of puzzles if you think about it. It's presenting you challenges to overcome. There has to be some level of challenge to overcome to say, I just want everything instantly all the time. It doesn't really make sense because then there's no game. The game has to be you're solving something, beating something. I don't know what he means by instant gratification that much.
Spend 40 hours farming for some helmet? That's stupid. And I understand the irony of this because as one of the residential spending 40 hours farming for a helmet
Is this like a
YouTubers,
WoW thing?
over the years, especially, I've done this a lot. Okay? I've even made guides on how to do it in only 38 hours and save a little bit of time.
Or maybe you're talking about like Diablo, where you like have to farm like your unique helms and stuff, or like your mythic unique helm. But like again, like the grind is like the point of the game. If you don't like it, you probably just don't like the game very much. I don't really think that's like an indictment of like live service games as a whole. Like if you play Path of Exile or Diablo or whatever, or you're playing WoW and you're farming for transmogs, like yeah, to get the helmet you want, it's a grind. I don't think this is some like insidious like oh evil game dev like trying to waste your time. Like the game is about grinding for gear, or you know, in the case of WoW, grinding for transmog. I don't really see how. Yeah, it sounds like he personally thinks it's a waste of time. Okay, well then you don't have to do it, right? But I don't think it's a huge indictment of live service games.
But nowadays, I look at that and I just don't have the same outlook on life that I used to, and I cannot even fathom wasting my time in such a exorbitant way. And I think that this is a big thing for me. Like I'm getting old. I'm 34 years old. And back in the day, and you guys can tell me if this is true or not in the comments with you, is that back in the day when I would play online
Speed it
video
up
games,
slightly.
the reason why I would play them is so I could show everybody else in the world that I was better than they were. And I got so caught up in this. I love being able to do this. This is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, on this point of like, oh, I played video games to show people I was better than them. This doesn't even have to do with like video games as a whole. This is like an indictment of like the whole human condition. Like people do things all the time just to flex on other people. If you've ever heard of like keeping up with the Joneses, like this has nothing to do with video games. People do stupid things that are irrational because they feel the need to compare with others, even though there is no need in the first place. But this is literally this is every facet of life. The car you drive, the job you have, the house you live in. People do this shit all the time. It has nothing to do with video games. Like, yes, people do this in video games. People do this with everything. And yes, it's unhealthy. But that's something that you should work on cutting out as a whole, not, okay, this is a problem with video games specifically, because it's not. It's everything.
And it was a big sense of pride for me in a way. And I don't see this as a bad thing really at all. I don't hate myself for this. I don't think I'm stupid for doing this.
Now, everyone does
But
this.
it's just that at this point in my life, I'm no longer feeling that way about about video games. I don't need to play a video game to show off that I'm better than somebody because again, I've gotten old. I don't really care that much about
You shouldn't have to do that with anything. You shouldn't have to buy a car to show you're better. You shouldn't have to buy a watch to show you're better. This is everything, huh? This is not just video games.
this anymore. And so I just play video games. I don't know. Imagine this for fun. And so, anyway, how do I get to this point? I get to this point and I look at video games, and it seems like so many of them are infected with the exact type of rot, the exact same type of rot. And that is every 60 to 90, some of them they're a little bit different, but they're all basically the same paradigm. Every, few months or so, there is a battle pass, a season pass that probably has a paid version that is higher than that, that sometimes provides, like, actual good rewards, like things that are play for power, like, Star Rail or something like that, or it just has cosmetics, like something like Curex Vault Pass.
Okay, yeah, battle passes, yeah.
General rule, right? Or the trading post in World of Warcraft that functions as a battle pass. And
Yep.
so, anyway, these things happen, and it makes me feel like every single one of these games is operating on this usually 60 to 90 day patch cycle that
Yeah.
repeats the same content over and over. There's an event for
I wouldn't say it repeats the same content over and over. Yeah, there's all these games with battle passes because it's an extremely successful like monetization model. But repeating the same content over and over, like again, I kind of wonder what games he's talking about. Because like I mean, trading post and WoW, this is kind of like a whole different thing where you just kind of play the game and you fill it automatically. Like Apex Legends has like battle pass. It was kind of one of the first like big battle pass games. And that I mean, there's new season updates, new changes, new maps. League is a battle pass, and they get patches every 2 weeks. I don't really know what he means by the same content over and over again.
different types of like different types of social events, like Chinese New Year. That's a really big one. You've got Halloween and all of these different events. And I feel like oh wow, you hate Halloween events. No, I don't hate Halloween events, but every year when they have them, like this is just really to sell skins, right? And when every single
That's like an ultimately like extremely cynical way to look at games. Like of course, events that they do for players are an opportunity to sell skins because, you know, assuming he's talking about games that need to sell skins to survive, like Overwatch or Overwatch now that it's free to play, or League of Legends or something like that. Like, yeah, of course they make opportunities to make skins, but it doesn't have to be this like extremely like insidious thing where like the whole purpose of the event is to sell skins. Like I'm thinking of like League of Legends Swarm event. That was a game mode that was barely monetized at all. It was almost not at all monetized, and it was really just an event that was like fun for players. But yes, I think it did come out with new skins. Okay, but people liked it, and yes, there was for people that wanted to, buy the skins from the game mode that they liked. The skins were available for those characters, and you could buy them. But this whole thing of like, if you just see everything as like, oh well, this is just another funnel to sell me skins. This is just another funnel to sell me microtransactions. Like the game has to survive. Of course, everything ultimately is a funnel to get you to pay money. But at that point, you're just so jaded, and yeah, I don't know. It just you could look at games this way, but then I don't know, like you could use this argument with literally anything. Like, oh, I go to the sushi restaurant and they try to sell me on the extra deal. Wow, all of this just to get me to pay more money to the restaurant. I guess ultimately that's how it works, but you can also just enjoy it for what it is. You don't have to be this ultra just turbo jaded about it.
Game is doing this, there's a certain sense of escapism that I'm looking for in a video game that really kind of evaporates when you see every single one using the exact same, content delivery method, right? And so I see these games with these battle passes every single time.
But they do it because it works, right?
Like I'm wasting my time doing them because every time I fill up one of these battle passes, every time I complete a season journey, every time I, complete all the tasks that have been allotted to me, well then I wait for a few months and then I have to do the whole thing over again. That's my big reward. And
It's just so ultra jaded. Like, can you imagine playing a game like Diablo 4 or Apex Legends or League of Legends, any game that's got a battle pass, and you fill up the battle pass, and you're like, oh great, my big reward for filling up the battle pass is then I better do the battle pass over again. It's so completely disconnected from gameplay. I don't think anyone plays games like this to just fill up bars and get things. I mean, I guess some people do, but then I would not recommend playing games like League of Legends, Apex Legends, uh, yeah, like gotcha games even it's so disconnected from reality to just be like, yeah, I just fill up the like Diablo 4. Oh, I do my season's journey and then that's it. Well, then you probably just don't like the gameplay that much. If it, it's not just about filling up the bar. It's about getting your character strong enough to be able to do the challenges. And if you're not enjoying that, then you're just not enjoying the game. But that has nothing to do with the battle pass system or the seasonal system. It's just you're not enjoying the gameplay.
all of them are built around some form of FOMO item. And I feel like FOMO is a very double-edged sword, and I think this is especially true with live service games. And what I mean by that is with a lot of live service games, how many of you guys played a live service game and you logged on every single day? You want to make sure every day you never miss that daily, right? Because you don't want to fall behind. And so you do that, and one day you miss it. It's like, ah, man, I missed it. Okay, well, I'm going to log on the next day. I'm still doing it every other day, so it's fine. And so then later on, maybe you end up accidentally missing 3 days. And then you tell yourself, well, maybe, and this could be any period of time, not 3 days, it could be 3 weeks, 2 weeks, right? Every game is different. But you tell yourself, oh, well, now I'm so far behind, it's not really worth playing anymore because I can't catch up. And
Again, I just don't know who thinks about video games this way, where it's like, first of all, I don't know any game where you miss 3 days and you cannot complete the battle pass. Huh? I mean, the example you gave about WoW, you complete the whole trading post, and like I don't even know, you play the game for like 2 days, it's like completely filled. Um, League of Legends, you play consistently over a bit, it'll fill the battle pass. Like I don't know. And like people that go, oh well, I can't fill the battle pass, so I'm not gonna play the game anymore. It just doesn't even make sense to me. Like people that play D4 because they love D4 don't play it to fill the battle pass. I just refuse to believe that. Right? As someone who plays League and plays Apex, I don't play these games to fill the battle pass. I play the game because I like the gameplay, and the battle pass is an aside thing. Again, it feels like a mentality problem. If you're only there to complete the battle pass and you see the battle pass as the ultimate objective instead of having fun or playing with friends or improving at the game or making your character stronger or whatever it is, you just have a really jaded, shitty view on video games.
And I think that's what ends up happening with a lot of people is that FOMO is a great way to keep people in the game, but FOMO is also a great way to keep people out of the game. And so more and more as I'm spending my time doing other things that I find to be more enjoyable, the appeal of trying to continuously play an online video game to catch up and to keep up with all the FOMO rewards, it becomes more onerous, more of a pain in the ass, and just more of, I mean, let's just be honest, guys, it's more of a waste of time. And so this is something that, and what's very weird for me talking about this, and I'm sure a lot of people will be kind of shocked to hear this, because I used to be the person who was the most fixated on this. I would never miss anything in WoW. I would never do anything. I would always make sure I get everything done.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in a way this is the problem because like live service games nowadays are meant to have rewards that are incredibly missable because the whole point is that you work to get them and then other people can't have them. I mean, Asmon has said this before about WoW mounts, how when they give you mounts that you have to grind for and, you know, work for, like the mount from the Shaw of Anger, for example, at Miss Pandaria, and everyone got really upset when there was an alternative way to get that, some event with tokens or something. I don't know, I wasn't playing at the time. Um, you know, the fact that some people, he was upset because the whole point was it's an exclusive thing, and it's the exact same thing. The whole point of these games is to have things that, yeah, you can't have everything. Some people will have the cool thing, and then you'll see the thing and you'll be like, wow, that's really cool. It's just not that deep. It's not that insidious. But maybe I can understand how someone who is used to having every single mount, every single everything, every FOMO item, I own all of them. Yeah, it's absolutely not the intent anymore. Um, you know, for people to own every single FOMO item, except for, yeah, a very small percentage of people who are whales, I suppose.
And be a complete completionist, right? And I feel like being a completionist completely wastes my time. So I stopped doing it. And
I don't know what that means,
seems
waste
like
my
kind of an
time.
obvious thing to do, but I feel
Waste
like
my
there's a
time
lot of
what?
people out there that are stuck in that hamster wheel,
Doing the
and they
battle
feel
pass, I
like if they
guess.
get off of the hamster wheel, then they've wasted all their time on the hamster wheel, so they can't get off because of sunk cost fallacy. And it's like, I remember when Blizzard made the $90, I can't even believe this, $90 store mount, they put this out there, and I'm seeing people in the comments, oh my god, I'm gonna have to buy this because I want to get all the mounts, but it's so expensive. It's like, what do you mean you have to buy this? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? You have to buy this. And the thing is that, I mean, I could also be talking to myself from 10 years ago. And that's the really ironic thing about it. And so the reason I'm making this video is to express kind.
Yeah, I just think that the point is never to own anything. It'd be like in League of Legends, you say, I want to own every skin, every single skin. I mean, the intent is not that you do that. And for people that feel the need to do that, I do have a friend who spends an egregious amount of money on League. I don't know if he has every skin, but he has a lot of skins. Okay, he spent thousands and thousands of dollars on the game. I mean, it's incredibly lucrative and profitable for the developers to do this. But really, for me, it's a question of expectations. You should not go into League thinking I'm going to own every skin. You should not go into WoW thinking I need to own every single mount. It's not the intent that you own every single mount. It's not the intent that you own every single League skin. Even going to gacha games, it's not the intent that you own every single unit in Honkai Star Rail. It's not the point. So maybe the games need to do a better job of expectation matching. That could be a problem. Maybe it's just kind of an adjustment, you know, growing pains. That's the problem.
Of my current state of mind. I still like online video games. I can still play them for fun, but I can never really fully invest into them because I feel like so many systems and mechanics inside of them are designed to waste your time.
Like
And
what?
I've noticed this, and I contrast it with something like Elden Ring, or I
I wish he'd
contrast
say,
it with
what is the
something like
wasting the time? Is it doing the
Metaphor
battle pass that's wasting the time?
Metaphor Refantagio. Amazing, incredible game. I loved it. I ended up taking a day off today. I've been playing it all day. It's been really fun. And so I see these other single player games that they don't make you sit through, 4 or 5 hours of meaningless, annoying activities in order to get the reward. They just give.
What 4 hours of meaningless activities? What game is he talking about that makes you do 4 to 5 hours of meaningless activities? I can't think of anything that's like this. You just spent all this time talking about battle passes. What battle pass makes you do that? In every game I've ever played, you kind of just finish the battle pass by playing the game, basically. What are these meaningless activities? It sounds like he's talking about dailies in WoW, which haven't existed since Shadowlands, right? They basically, with Dragonflight, they got rid of dailies. So what are these 4 to 5 hours of meaningless activities? What is this? I don't even know what he's talking about.
You the reward. And the reason why is because they've already got their reward. They've already got your money. So it doesn't matter to them anymore, like whether you're, spending more time on the game. They just want the time that you spend on the game to be as meaningful and fun as possible. And I compare that with online video games, and it's like, okay, well, every time that you go on a loading screen, there's an advertisement for a skin. Every time that you open up the menu, there's another advertisement for the store. Every time that you open up the launcher, there's an advertisement for, like a battle pass, right?
I could make the complete opposite argument, by the way. He says that the great thing with box price games is they've already got your money once, so now they just want you to enjoy it as much as possible. Whereas a live service game needs you to keep buying stuff. I could make the exact opposite argument. I could say, if it's a one-time purchase up front, why do I care how good or bad the experience is? Look at any shitty PS4 port onto PC, right? Where the game is terrible, it's horribly optimized. You get 30 FPS in pre-rendered cutscenes, but they'll slap $60 price tag on it. And well, if you don't like it, well, they've already got your money, so who cares? On the other hand, live service games to survive need to keep making a good game and need to keep putting out content that you want to spend money on, right? If League keeps putting out skins, but the game sucks, well, no one's going to play the games, no one's going to buy the skins. And if they make shitty skins that no one wants, no one's going to buy the skins. If anything, it's almost a more honest business model to say, okay, this is a continually evolving game, and we need players who are interested in continually putting money into it for the game to keep running. So I don't really understand this whole point of like, oh, well, once they have your money, then they just want you to enjoy the game. Well, once they have your money, they don't really have to care at all if it's just a one-time purchase. I don't understand this argument at all.
And so all of the different tools in online video games are designed to try to keep you playing the game as long as possible, but the quality of that entertainment...
Again, I don't see that as insidious. Yes, the point of online games is to keep you playing because, they want people to have fun, so you keep playing the game. It's just that people say this all the time. I know I've already said it, but it's designed to keep you playing. Yeah, because it's designed to be fun. It's designed to be something you want to play. This in and of itself is not an argument for anything.
Slower. But I think it's a mindset shift that I've had where I used to always think that, being good at a video game doesn't matter if you can't beat other people at it, right? And I was thinking to myself, and that's how I always felt, but then I realized to myself, beating people at a video game doesn't really matter either because it's a video game. So...
I mean, what is this, man? Beating other people at video games doesn't matter because it's a video game. You could extend this to literally any hobby ever. That's like saying, well, collecting stamps is irrelevant because ultimately, who cares? It's just some fucking stamps. Well, to people who care about it, to people who are interested in it, it matters a lot to have a stamp collection. My grandmother collects egg cup holders, right? The little, I think the Japanese, traditional Japanese things that hold, the little eggs, right? You could say, oh, well, who cares? It's just egg cup holders. Well, she cares. And, people who are interested in the history of that type of thing care a lot, right? So I don't really get this, oh, it doesn't matter because it's just a video game. I mean, you can make this about anything. This is not an indictment of live service games at all.
Kind of shocking, isn't it? And again, guys, comment down below if this is something that this is a revelation.
This is not a revelation to anyone. This is a revelation to exactly 0 people. This is the start of every single video of why I'm quitting video games. I realize video games are pointless because everything I'm doing, none of it's real. It's just a video game. When again, you can extend this to anything. You can extend it. I mean, we might as well just tell people, don't bother going to play football. Who cares? Don't play football. It's just a video game, or rather, it's just a sport. It's just a game, so it has no, relevance. So it's all relative. Just this, it's a game, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you can see anything.
And so I see these things where it's like these 90-day reward structure cycles that repeat, and they usually power creep each other. So it's like if you work really hard in a game, this is something that Classic WoW always did really well. I'm a Classic Andy in a lot of ways. Is that if I took a break in BWL and AQ and Nax came out, well, I could come back and I'd still be in BWL. It's not like I would just be kind of accelerated to Nax and all of my effort that I had put previously would be invalidated. But I feel like a lot of video games have a reset power creep cycle that happens on a cyclical basis that's generally correlated with either a seasonal model or a battle pass model.
It's interesting he doesn't like this because it goes against kind of everything he's been saying. The whole point of these kind of resets, like the example he gives of like, oh, it's not like I'm accelerated to the next tier up. But so that way you actually can take a break from the game and not be permanently behind. Like you take a break for 60 days, you don't come back and you're permanently 60 days of progress behind everyone. This reset happens that way you can still, play the game with your friends and enjoy it. And yes, you'll have to re-gear your character, maybe level your character a bit, right? Because maybe, new expansion came out, you have to re-level your character, right? But if anything, I would think it's a giant waste of time. This whole thing about FOMO of, oh, well, I'm never gonna catch up anyway, so I might as well, not play. Imagine if MMOs had 0 catch-up mechanics and it literally just took you like weeks and months of grinding on an old character to get it ready to play the new raid. Talk about waste of time. To me, that's an infinitely bigger waste of time than a battle pass bar which fills up automatically.
And these types of mechanics are tiresome. They're very tiresome to me. And as I've spent a lot of time playing these games, I've realized that I'm not really having as much fun completing these tasks because of the inevitable futility of it, where ultimately I'm not really going to be able to achieve anything in this game. Not like it matters, but it feels like it matters. Again, If you like playing these games and you're having fun, then that's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. Like, you don't
That's the first thing he said. I agree with.
need to justify it to me. You don't need to justify it to anybody. But I think that what happens is that a lot of times people put the expectation of like, oh, am I having fun with how many other people are having fun the same way. And so for me, moving over to playing a lot more single player games, I don't have to keep up with like, like really fastly evolving metas. I'll log in, like everybody's playing and grinding. It's hard to play a competitive game like that unless you're playing it all the time because of just how fast information travels now online. And ultimately, I'm playing these games. I can't really, maintain a degree of like, like maybe like competitive nature, right? Because and also some people might say skill issue, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't even really care. It's not really that big of a deal to me. I just want to play the game and have fun. And if I'm getting fucking destroyed, like how many of you guys used to play Fortnite and you stopped playing it because, you build like your little, okay, all right, you son of a bitch, you come over here. And then over there, he's building the Eiffel fucking Tower. And,
I mean, I don't know what this has to do with seasonal resets or patches or anything. This is like bad matchmaking. Like if you're playing Fortnite and you're playing against people that are just doing all sorts of crazy builds on you, like that's just bad matchmaking. I It seems completely just disconnected from the past 13 minutes of what he's been saying.
you feel like a clown and you lose, and so you just lose interest in playing the game. I think that's what's happened with a lot of online games because everybody's wanting to make a name for themselves. Like for a lot of people out there, it's I wouldn't say kind of it is. It's a job for them, right? They're doing this as a career.
Okay, for extraordinarily few people are they making it a job, huh? To be clear, he's saying everyone, lots of people. No, no, like extremely few amount of people.
So they want to be as competitive and as good at this game as possible. And I
Because
think
that's the
the reality
fun
of that
for
is that
some
there's so
people.
many people out there that it really makes it hard for an average player to have fun playing one of these games when metas and skill caps evolve so fast that you have to maintain a certain degree of consistency playing it, or you're probably not going to have a good time because you're going to get skill gapped or power crapped,
This is why matchmaking exists.
depending on what the game is. And in fact, in some of them, it's actually both. And so what's happened is that I've kind of realized this cycle.
I'd love to know what games he's talking about when he says this, by the way. Oh, I have to keep up with the meta. I have to keep. Where are these games where, like, you were playing one moment and you were doing great, doing great, doing great, and then you come back a year later and you're getting completely crushed? And it's not because the matchmaking is unfair, it's because the meta changed or something. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, man.
Utility, and I've realized that like why am I trying to keep up with this to like maintain the same amount of effort and time when again, why wouldn't I want to have my cake and eat it too, right? Why would I want to invest a huge amount of time into something like this that I'm not really enjoying? And I feel
Well,
like
yeah.
another thing is daily rewards or weekly rewards. A lot of these online video games, they have like a reward structure that is very front loaded, which means that you're getting 80% of the rewards in like 5% of the time, and then you spend the other 95% of the time getting the remaining 20% of the rewards. So they're designed for you not to play a lot and to basically stay on this treadmill.
Okay. I can't believe he's complaining about this because this was something that they implemented to be player friendly. I remember this very explicitly in Magic the Gathering Arena, where they basically said that for daily rewards, you can get 95% of your daily rewards very, very, quickly or within like a reasonable amount of time. And the point was, if you front load the rewards, then you're asking the minimum, from players. You're saying if you play 30 minutes a day, you can have 95% of everything. If you don't front load the rewards, then the alternative is then, let's say you've got a game where like Magic the Gathering Arena, where you get rewards per, daily win up to 15 times, I think. What they've done is that in the first 3 wins, right, is 95% of the rewards. But you can keep playing a bit afterwards to keep getting, really small, kind of really negligible rewards afterwards. They did this on purpose. That way you didn't feel obligated to do, 15, wins a day. That was the whole point, was to respect players' time, right? That's why the rewards are front loaded, so that way you don't feel obligated to play the game for 6 hours a day to get everything you got to do every day.
And move at the pace that they've set for you. And I also find this to be very fatiguing as well because there's some days I don't really want to play at all, and other days where days where I want to play maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, and I feel like that time and effort isn't rewarded in a proportional level, and it feels like my time is being disrespected. And I think that's really a fundamental concern that I.
Again, it's just crazy. You can imagine in this game where to really be optimal, you've got to get your 15 daily wins, right? Which people would grind and do. Like if you didn't front load the rewards and you had everything, evenly across your 15 wins, you would have to win 15 games every single day. That is a way bigger disrespect of your time.
Have to is is that I think a lot of these online games are built with systems that are cynically designed to waste your time in the most, like subversive way possible. And I see this happen a lot. And this is also
Like what? He just says this. He says they're designed to waste your time. I still don't know where the waste of time is. The only thing he said that's an actual waste of time is the daily activities, which again, I don't know which game he's talking about that has the daily activities besides, I guess, like gacha games, but I already said at the beginning of the video I'm excluding those. WoW doesn't have dailies anymore. League, Apex, Call of Duty, you can miss multiple days. You can miss weeks on these battle passes. I swear the way the Apex system works, you can literally log in the last week and grind out a few hours a day and literally get the battle pass. What is this? What is this time wasting thing? I don't get it. He complains that the rewards are front loaded and easy to get, and then says they're wasting your time. I don't know. I don't understand where the time wasting is happening.
this is the worst thing is that
Is it the resets? The fact that it resets that's wasting your time? Like it should just never reset and you should have to grind forever? Like with an infinite length battle pass? Like I'm so confused, man.
oh wow, you don't like grinding? Oh, you're not a fan of that? You don't have time? Well, guess what? We have the solution for that. We've created the problem, and now you're going to pay us to solve it. So there's like these pay for convenience, pay for power systems. So it's like, oh well, I can't keep up all the time, and I can't play all the time, so I'm going to spend money on the game.
Again, I don't even know which game he's referring to. Pay for convenience. I guess you could say like, yeah, WoW token, or yeah, like paying for like battle pass like skips or something. Not bad, like tier skips on battle passes. I guess that's what he means, but I'm still not sure.
Some people have rationalized this into becoming normal. I don't think that it's normal at all. Who decided that you have to pay money to advance in a video game? Like, who decided, oh, because you don't have time, now you have to pay money? Well,
The crazy part is we're talking about cosmetic only battle passes. You don't have to do anything. He was saying earlier, it's so ridiculous that people feel the need that they have to buy the new mount. And then he's saying, how ridiculous is it that you have to spend money? Hold on. Time out. You don't have to do anything. You can play most of these games completely for free, and literally there's no power locked behind money at all. So I don't know what he means. You have to spend money. Clearly you don't. You just said that 10 minutes ago.
Well, I'll tell you who decided that. The people you're paying money to. This is a completely invented problem that you could solve with 50 different solutions, but big surprise, the one solution that keeps being used is the one that's the most beneficial to the people that are making the games. And again, that's fine if you like this kind of stuff. I don't. I feel stupid. I feel stupid paying to win, and I feel stupid playing free to play. I feel stupid for playing it at all. And so I thought to myself,
I feel stupid paying to win. I feel stupid playing free to play. I feel stupid for playing at all. I don't even know what that means.
am I going to spend my whole day being stupid? Yeah. But not that stupid. That's terrible. And so I quit playing. And so I felt these different systems, and it's like every game has these.
I just wish I knew which game.
One game has this. Every online video game follows these same content delivery structures. They follow the same reward structures. They follow the same progression structures. They follow the same store models.
Like
and
examples?
What the genre is. How is it that you can have a game that is about shooting people with guns that is fundamentally the same as a game that's killing dragons, or a game that's like an anime waifu collector? Really, Call of Duty's got the same progression standard, kind of? I mean, in an abstract sense? So Honkai Star Rail, what the...
I mean, what does he even mean by that? He's just saying they both have battle passes. That's all he's saying. He starts the video by saying every game has the same DNA, and it's really just they all have battle passes. It's not the same progression structure. It's not the same motivation for playing. It's not the same any of this shit. He's just complaining that they all have battle passes. Everything he's just spent the past 1 minute saying you can condense down to battle pass bad. Yes, all these games have battle passes. Why? Because they're incredibly successful models. Hey, there's nothing surprising here. And he doesn't even really go into this video why he doesn't like it besides, I'm wasting my time, but I don't like when the rewards are front-loaded. Yeah, it's wasting my time because I complete them and then I have to do them again. I guess, yeah, I don't know.
And as soon as I've realized this, I've taken a step back. And I've tried to have fun playing video games. And that's where I'm at now. I've been playing a lot of video games that are single player that I feel respect my time a lot more.
You can do what he's just saying with live service games. Just stop over hyper turbo fixating on the battle pass. Just play, he says Call of Duty. Just play Warzone to have fun. You don't have to just giga fixate on I've got to complete this battle pass, but then it's so depressing because the next season they'll be just shut up and just play the game and have fun. You can do that already. You don't have to go play single player games to do that. You can go play Diablo 4 and just make a character and have fun and try wacky builds and like I don't understand how this has anything to do with live service games or battle passes or anything.
That I feel are paced in a way that's not disrespectful, and I think they're really fun. And I'm not thinking about who is, like who am I beating at the game, or where am I on a leaderboard. It doesn't matter where I am on a leaderboard. It's a fucking video game. It gives a shit. I'm having fun.
Oh, we're back to this. It's just a video game, so it doesn't matter. It's just a video game, so who cares? Again, it's like every single thing is the same. I quit video games because it's just a video game and it doesn't matter. Okay, so you just lost interest in video games. That's your personal opinion. That doesn't mean every live service game is exactly the same, or it doesn't mean battle passes are evil and horrible. It just means that, okay, you're not enjoying competing in video games anymore, like in a competitive sense. Okay, fine, but I don't know what that has to do with anything he's saying, man.
Enjoying myself, and it's been great. And so I wanted to make this video and talk to you guys about where I'm at personally, why I haven't been playing a lot of these online video games, and why I've fallen out of favor with it. I yearn for the day that there is an online video game that makes me want to waste my time. But right now there's not. And so I'm stuck here being a boomer, playing single player games, and that's just about it. And I hate to say it, guys, but I'm happy. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this a little bit, give some of the different little patterns that I've been seeing a lot of these online games having, and also share where I'm at. And I think the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I feel like a lot of you guys out there might be a little bit like me. And let me know in the comments if you are. I'm quite curious. I think this is a long overdue discussion because
It's not a long overdue discussion, man. It's not long overdue. People have been making the same talk for years, ever since battle passes came out, man. It's not long overdue. Everything he's saying about, okay, I'm playing single player games and I'm having fun. Fine. Good, even. Good. Glad he's having fun. But 20 minutes in and I still don't understand what he doesn't really like. He just says, okay, there's battle passes and it wastes my time. But when they do implement things that respect my time, like making it so I'm not permanently behind when I take breaks from the game, or front-loading rewards so I don't feel obligated to grind for multiple hours every day if I don't feel like it, well, I also don't like those too. Okay, so you want your time respected, but not like that?
I feel like this permeates not only the enjoyment of the game, but what are games fundamentally. For a lot of people, they're a form of escapism, and I don't feel like I'm escaping into a treadmill. It's like I'm in my real life that is in some ways a treadmill. I'm lucky, in the job that I have. Some people aren't as lucky. Their real life is much more like a treadmill than mine is. And then it's like, finally, I've been working all day. Time to go home and work in this video game. Miss me with that bullshit, man.
It's a completely personal choice to see games like that. I'm sorry, but it's a completely personal choice. If you go and you play Diablo 4 or Warzone, and the only thing you care about is doing your whatever missions for your battle pass to complete your battle pass, that is 100% completely and entirely on you. Okay? That is on you. It doesn't mean that the whole system is completely evil or people are going to quit the game because they can't complete the battle pass in time. It's a completely personal
And so that's the way that I feel. Let me
choice.
know in the comments how you feel, and I hope there's more discussion about this. I really do, because I hope that it'll lead to better online games that are more respectful of your time and fundamentally more fun.
Yeah, this whole, I guess that's where I'll end off myself. This whole thing about respecting time. I don't understand what he wants. Battle Pass as a system respects your time infinitely more than any system that we had previously. It respects your money as well, I've got to say as well, right? I mean, you played League of Legends before. There was no way to earn anything outside of paying for it. You bought the skin, you paid for it, that was it, right? Yeah, wasting time with daily activities. I have no clue what he's talking about. Yeah, respecting your time. I wish I had concrete examples of where games felt like they've disrespected his time. I guess, yeah, it's really, he talks about these seasonal models that, change and reset. But like I said, for me, the fact that it does reset, every 6 months or whatever, that's exactly what makes it respect your time in the first place, because that means I can come back to a game I've not played in a while and I'm not permanently behind everyone else, right? When I go play Path of Exile or Diablo 4, if it's halfway through the season and like I'm like, I don't really know if I've got enough time to, really do what I want with the season. Okay, I wait till next season, because then next season everyone's on the same footing, right? But then the other people who played last season have the cool armor sets and stuff that I didn't have, and that's okay because they worked for it and they grinded for it. Basically, that's the conclusion. It feels like he contradicts himself like 100 times. with this stuff about respecting time and battle passes, and then sometimes it just feels like he's boxing shadows, like he's just talking about games that I don't know what he's talking about. You know, paying for power. Almost no really like big games, at least in the West, really do this. Um, yeah, and like his really like astute observation is that lots of games have battle passes, but yeah, I mean, I just don't really know how it's that surprising or interesting when yeah, it's just a very successful model, and it's an entirely optional model to engage in, right? You can go and play League or Warzone or Honkai Star Rail or whatever it is, and you can not spend a single cent on, you know, anything, anything. So this need to, you know, that this feeling he has of I have to spend money, I have to do all this stuff. You know, I don't understand where it's coming from. And my conclusion really is he's just super jaded. It's a super jaded view of the game to go in and just see it as, you know, he barely talks about gameplay in any of this. He just talks about like, well, I like that I can go in Elden Ring and I can just do what I want. Whereas when I play, you know, Diablo 4, I feel the need to make the bars go up. Okay, that is a personal choice. That's a personal problem, and I don't really think it's an indictment of live service games.